So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to South India Business Week, day 11 for Energy and Sustainability panel. In today's panel, we have Debnath sir. Sir is the Chief Finance Officer for TruAlt, and we have Gokul sir. Gokul is the founder and CEO for MinionLabs. We have Nandan sir. Sir is the proprietor for ComePost. And we also have Dr. Vinod R R sir. Sir is the founder of VidyaMitra. Sir will be the moderator for today. And for today's topic of discussion, we are talking about innovations in energy efficiency and sustainable practices for building a greener future. Thank you everyone for joining us in the panel. Now I'll hand over this to Vinod sir. Sir will continue with it.
So thank you. Very good evening once again. And very happy that we can see all people on time, and then we'll ensure that we are closing on time also. So 45 minutes, let's have a beautiful journey. So we'll have two rounds. One we'll start with Debnath, Gokul and Ninant, and then a reverse from Ninant, Gokul and Debnath. So, and we all know building greener future is one of the crux of sustainable development goals also. So I truly respect your commitment to the nature, to the organization, to the society at large. So without any further delay, let me ask this question to Debnath ji. The question is, what innovative approaches is your company taking to promote bioenergy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity in this event. So to start with the answer, so there are two aspects of it. There are many innovative approaches are there within the companies adopted. And just allow me 1 minute to introduce ourselves. So it's a TruAlt Bioenergy. We are the India's largest producer of biofuel, and we just start the company in 22 only. So it is a new company, and today we are the India's largest at a starting phase only. And here we have the comprehensive biofuel solution starting from 1G ethanol, 2G ethanol, SAF, CVG. So I'll get into. I'm not going into the product details now, but however, there are a lot of innovative approaches are there. One is the backward integration. So the ethanol production is mainly comes from there are two ways of doing it. One is the sugar based, and other is grain and the other agri based products. So sugar based is how it is. It is from the, if I look at a sugar cane, the end to end is getting used for the for the production of sugar as well as for the production of ethanol. So I just give an example that like molasses is which is a primary raw material for the ethanol, which comes from the sugar after the sugar production, and the molasses cannot be crystallized further. So it is a byproduct and it is a waste for the sugar industry that we are using as a raw material. So that is one. Second is the which is called as a bagas. Bagas is the on the top part of the sugarcane and the bottom part of the sugarcane, which is just carted, and it is a wastage. And in the northern India, the so much of pollution comes to in the Delhi and the Gurgaon, etc. is place is just for the burning of this bagas. That bagas we are using as a fuel. Instead of using the coal, instead of using the other things as a thermal power, we are using the bagas we are using as a fuel. So that is how we are preventing the nature, and we are using the most sustainable methodology. Then the third one, which is once the bagas used as a fuel, the mud which is coming, that is called the press mud. In what happens in there are a lot of sugar industries, they are using the press mud, I mean just from moving out their factory, and they are spending a lot of money on that to handle that waste. Basically we are using this press mud, and we are buying the press mud from the other sugar company. We have the compressed biogas plant. So compressed biogas plant, it is we have the PNG and CNG, and this is a CBG. This is a compressed biogas, and it get into the main pipeline of the gas OMCs like GAIL, ONGC. They are the off-taker from us. So we use that press mud as a as a raw material for the CBG, compressed biogas, and the output is the biogas. So if you look at from the starting phase, once the sugar production happens, so out from the sugar cane, all the waste product we are using, and we are generating the ethanol. Now, what is the utility of ethanol? There is a two types of ethanol. One is the first generation ethanol, that is 1G. Second is the second generation ethanol, which is 2G. So the first generation ethanol is, all the ethanol are used for the petrol blending. For diesel blending has not happened yet in India, but it is happening in Brazil. But this 1G ethanol is completely using as a blending of petrol. So the petrol we are using in the car, that get blended, and it is a 12.54% blended is there. Now the government of India has announced in the last biofuel alliance that it will go up to 20% blending. So then whatever the fuel we are using in our car, it will be more greener, and it will be creating a less pollution to the society. So that is 1G ethanol that we are using. Now what is 2G ethanol? 2G ethanol, again, the raw material is the bagasse. So from bagasse directly will produce the ethanol, and then the press mud comes, and that will use for compressed biogas. This is that 2G is another innovative approach which is we have adopted. It is under construction. The plant is under construction for 2G, that is going. Then the second is the third one is for the aviation fuel, which is a sustainable aviation fuel. Today we are using the core petrols, the aviation petrol that we are using in the air. That will be again the ethanol blended. So that will come from 1G ethanol. It will be converted to sustainable aviation fuel. So it is much better petrol what we are using in our car, the aviation fuel. But though there is a pollution, so that pollution will be zero if we use the SAF, which is happening in Brazil. And for a demo production we have started now. In globally, first plant has been set up in Georgia, and the most probably we are hopeful to set up the first Indian SAF plant will be with us only. So that is how these are the various ways we are preventing the nature and to try to reduce the pollution.
So sweet of you, sir. Very nice. So reduce, recycle, and reuse, which is the mantra, so which is being done. Backward integration is the crux. So let me move on to Gokul. The same point, but from your point of view, what are the innovative technologies that are adopted to enhance energy efficiency?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vinod, and thank you, Debnath, for a wonderful explanation. So myself, Gokul, I run MinionLabs, and so we are creating more of innovative technologies and that to drive energy efficiency in businesses. So typically, if you look at any kind of commercial or industrial facilities, there are 4 different wide methods to save electricity cost. The first one would always goes to renewable, like installing solar panels or getting a least electricity supply from the windmill and all of that. Then there is a second method, which is something on the building infrastructure. The place where you keep the windows, you get the natural light coming in, natural air coming in. That will reduce your lighting cost or HVAC cost, all of it. The third point would be more of automations, where when you walk out of the room, automatically turn off the lamps or reduce air conditioner slightly or increase it. But what we are working is the fourth method is something we look at the assets that is running inside the facilities. If you look at any kind of commercial industrial, there are more than hundreds, more than 500, thousands of equipments running up and down, 24/7. And these equipments often not checked, whether it is either in a brand new stage to a slightly degraded, or even it's a decade-year-old equipment. All these electricity equipments consumes electricity, and we need to check whether these equipments is consuming appropriately or not. And for that, we need to install a meter or a sensor for each and every equipment, measure the power consumption, then finally find out what is the output, what is the efficacy of these equipments. But in this strategy or in this method, there's a huge capex investment, because if you walk into airport, how many equipments you can see, how many lights you can see. It's more than 10,000, a lakh of equipments, a lakh of meters or sensors is required. It's a huge capex investment. And on top of it, OPEX, There's a data, we need a dashboard to analyze it. And a dashboard would not tell you what kind of action points you require. It just shows you all colorful graph, whether I have to service the water motor, rewind the water motor, or should I have to fill in gas in the compressor. All of that action points will not tell you. Again, we need to hire an energy auditor who can translate this graph to points, and that's additional plus fee. And whatever the auditor suggests, it just sets as a suggestion. We need to take an action on that, and that has some cost. So with all of these costs mounting on top of each other, what are the savings we get out from it? The return on investment is like more than 5 years, and it's totally lost cost. So this is the problem statement intrigued me. And I used to work as a research associate at IIT Madras back in 2014-15. So I thought, let me solve this. So we came up with a technology which is more of detecting the energy signature of individual equipments. So to give an example, like suppose there's a washing machine been running. And how does a washing machine works? Number one, it fills water. Number two, step-by-step rotation. Third and fourth will be faster and faster. If you put that in a graph, while in each mode, while filling water to a step-by-step rotation, there will be a sinusoidal wave, straight line of filling water, a different waveform will be created. So we tapped into that, and air conditioner has a different pattern. Likewise, every equipment that runs in the entire globe in different sectors, be it hospital, hotel, or maybe a bank tunnel like finger fry machines, each has its own unique patterns. So we collected it and we made a database of it. Currently, we hold like more than 8,000 of patents with a granted patent on that patent, on the patents. And we made a machine learning and deep learning model out of it. And we deployed at the electricity meters. And now these meters are like not just a smart meter, it became a super meter. Sitting at that one location, it can able to tell what equipment turned on at what point of time and what is its individual power consumption. And with the super meter, you avoid bunch of meters or sensors. If you tell like maybe a facility which has 100 equipments, ideally they need 100 meters or sensors, but they just need one of our super meter. And those super meter can give 100 individual equipments power consumption data. And furthermore, we extrapolate that data. We do a lot more analysis. We do a benchmarking as per like BW standards, and we see which is problematic, which is not problematic. And we give out the actionable insights, and with which the customer can save up to 30% of energy savings, along with capex opex reduction compared to smart metering technologies.
Wow, I mean, simply superb. I think truly respect your research insight and application of it. So benchmarking is what the world is looking for, and you nailed it. So thank you for that. So Ninanji, the question probably in a different manner. What are the strategies or the tactics which is being adopted to promote sustainable waste management practices, especially in urban areas?
The problem here in urban area is mainly now in Mumbai, MCGM, the municipal corporation, local body, has stopped lifting waste from bulk generators. Means those who are generating more than 100 kgs of waste per day. So they have stopped it. So we went to the commissioner, asked them if this is the right thing to do to immediately stop lifting waste or from the households, from societies, from malls, from hospitals. So as they are specialized into something else, they won't be doing waste management. A hotelier, if he's having space, he won't do waste management over there. Rather, he would invest for something else, have couple of tables more or something like that. So we told ki we'll set up a plant on their behalf and we'll process it on their behalf here. So we'll collect the waste, segregate it, sort it, shred everything, make compost out of wet waste, and dry waste we'll recycle it or we'll channelize it to the authorized recyclers. So these were the things we did while starting. So MCGM immediately stopped it, and they were like, where should we go? How should we go? Everyone knows from food the compost is made, but how? And so it is not made. Misconception is the compost has been made within 24 hours. It takes time. Decomposition takes time. You have to have space, and mainly here in urban areas, the space is the main constraint. So they don't have space, they don't have those facilities. So we have placed plant. We have 4 plants in Mumbai, and we are currently lifting the waste and processing it and making their events or their organization a zero waste.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Truly respected, I think, sustainable waste management practices. And unfortunately, all of us are going behind instant gratification. So any resources to be valuable has to take time. So I'm probably doing the reverse order again with Ninanji, because he ended with a statement like, they have 4 plants and then they are doing waste management practices in Mumbai. So can you throw some light on some of the best practices that is adopted, or what are the common innovative solutions that is adopted in your plant?
So we have heard of 24-hour composting machines or many kind of machineries which make compost in few hours or something like that. So what we have done is we have made machineries. We have understood how to go and make compost. So first what we do is we bring the waste, we segregate it, sort it out. After that it goes into crusher. The wet waste goes into crusher. We make paste out of it. Then the paste goes into mixer. We add culture, the ready compost, which is dry. We mix it. We don't use sawdust, as it is having 0:300 value of NPK ratio, and the ready compost has less than 20. So like we use that, and thus we get a good quality compost after 15 days of time. So that is how we do at our plant. And for dry waste, we bale it, we segregate, again, make it into different categories, we bale it, and we send it to the authorized recyclers. We are even having properly, we do the weighing checks, the compliances, and everything, we do it. Yeah.
So sweet of you. Thank you. Coming to Gokulji, you said about benchmarking and super meter, which will help the users or the so-called the big organizations to save on capex, opex, as well as probably an enhanced ROI. The question is, how do your service empower consumers to make informed decisions?
Sure. I think it's more of the use cases. Let me share one. You might be aware of a hospital named Fortis. It's one of the premium chain of hospitals in India, and they are our first customers. 2017, they joined us. So what is happening at the Fortis hospital is, so they feel the maintenance engineers has been instructed that morning every day at 7 a.m. the HVAC has to be turned on. So they get the required cooling at 8 a.m. so that the doctors can start performing surgeries from 8 a.m. onwards at the operation theater. But these maintenance engineers are like more of humans, and they keep turning on the HVAC like morning 7 a.m. or 6:55 or 6:50 or 7:15, somewhere around 7 a.m. And this has been a practice from 1995. And the time when we installed was at 2017. And we installed our super meters, and within a month we found out how many times they turned on early, how many times they turned on late, and there were 32 hours of electricity consumption per hour because they turned on early. So that 32 hours of power consumption is a wastage, it's a leakage, it's a cost for the hospital, which we fixed it, and they had saved some 32 hours every month. That is one. Secondly, about the informed decisions. So we look at the cost basically on electricity, and electricity is like the major cost, sits at the top of the P&L of any businesses. So in hospital, they have a MRI machine, and each time they turn on and turn off the MRI machine, one on and off, that means one scan, we look at what is the power cost. On top of it, we add like what is the salary of the person who's operating. And these are assets usually leased, so the leasing cost and some maintenance cost put together is a total MRI cost per month. In order to break even that, how many scans does the hospital has to make at what price point, so that they can be profitable at every scan they have, or every blood pressure monitor, or every X-ray machines they have. This is one example of a commercial or a hospital use case. Likewise, in industry, it's more of the production. So we have Nandu's Chicken, who door deliver chickens. So we work with their factories to every retail shops across Hyderabad and Bangalore. So there it's a different use case. Like in their feed mill, they manufacture like 1 kg feed. To manufacture 1 kg feed, they have 81 equipments, from starting from drying to grinding to different mixers to different equipments, and finally they manufacture 1 kg of feed. And how much they are selling, how much they have to sell, what price point they have to sell, so that they can break even the cost of manufacturing there on the electricity perspective. That is one another example of like decisions that they would make. And it's just not the use case of the maintenance team looking at the assets. Since we have equipment level data, we further extrapolate to a carbon emissions. We look at every equipment's what is the carbon emission, and as per CEA, Center of Electricity and Authority, so to produce 1 unit of electricity in India, it's equivalent to 912 grams of carbon. So they are burning coal somewhere, they are getting electricity from like a windmill, hydro, and the electricity which we are getting to individual buildings to home, it's a mix of all. So they come up with a calculation of 912 grams. So in a reverse way, if you save 1 unit of electricity, which means you avoid 912 grams of carbon. So we look at how much electricity we save, we calculate the carbon emissions, we get the credits for it. On top of the energy savings, our customers also get a investment on their energy savings. It's kind of a double benefit. So it's more of different use cases in each sectors. Either it could be a hospital to a educational or biopharma. So today we work with more than 200 plus enterprises in different sectors, like Reliance to Adani's to Biocon to Marti to etc. Different use cases and different kinds of solutions.
So sweet of you, really so sweet of you. I think, the optimal feasible solution or the efficient frontier, which is commonly known as. So that's what I think I truly respect. I think taking the same thread to Debnath ji, according to you, how do you balance? Because it's a known story that, when you want to talk about sustainability and environmental protection, cost is something which any organization has to take it up. And naturally, everybody wants some sort of, either a profit motive or at least a neutral break-even sort version. So from your perspective or from your organization's point of view, how do you balance the financial as well as sustainable goals?
There are two aspects of it. One is that to make ourselves profitable and to reduce the cost within the company. And at the same time, what we are doing, I'll give some examples by which our vendors are also making money. So we are not only making money, we are also making our vendors happy. So our vendors are also getting profitable out of this operation. Obviously, there are firstly, before getting to the operational detail, I should thank to the government of India, because government of India has given a lot of support on this ethanol, rather the biofuel industry. The first is that for setting up a plant, whatever the capex cost is there for the on the date component, there is a interest subvention up to 50%. So that the up to 50% or 6%, whichever is lower. So if my effective cost is 12%, but my cost is not 12%, my cost is below 10%. So then I can get a 50% interest subvention from government of India. So that we are getting, that is a big boost for us, because we don't, for setting up a capex, because it is this industry is a capex heavy. So we don't have to carry with a lot of interest burden on that. So that is number one, financial aspect. So there is a lot of financial comfort with this. That is number one. Number two is that there is a lot of strategy behind it. So how the ethanol production happens. So there is a two part of the year, annualized. So it is, one is the sugar season, mainly the winter season from October to March, and other is the summer season. So what we do is, when the sugar season happens, then the sugar production is going on. That point of time, the sugar production, mainly the sugar syrup are getting used. So after crushing the sugar cane, the sugar syrup are getting used. So whatever the surplus sugar syrup are there, that we are using during the season time for production of ethanol. That is number one. And then at the same time, during the sugar season, the sugar production is going on and they are generating a lot of molasses. Molasses is a waste for the sugar industry that we store for the, because this here is the difference is sugar syrup cannot be stored. It has to be used within 48 hours, but molasses you can store for 8-9 months. So that storage facility we have created and we store that for this. So there, what we are doing in the market, what happens is the molasses price during the summer season, the price goes up. So as we have created the additional storage facility for the entire summer season, we store the molasses and we use during the summer season at a low cost, so that we don't have to pay around say 2 rupees per liter. It's quite a substantial amount, so that we don't have to pay, so that we are saving. That is number one. Number two is that, as I've given the example for the fuel, if I compare with the fuel cost, the coal versus, as I mean, Gokul has mentioned, is the electricity cost is the one of the top item for the PNL. So that is it's like fuel cost is one of the, for any manufacturing industry, the fuel cost is one of the prime cost. So for fuel, we are coal versus bagas, we are using around 7.5 rupees per liter. So that is on a, we are selling the ethanol at 65 rupees, and 7.5 rupees is more than 10%. So that is the impact. That is the kind of saving, and that will directly adding to my EBITDA. That is number two. So the bagas is a waste for any sugar industries, that they are either the people in the Punjab, the people are burning, in UP people are burning, the pollution comes, the smoke comes to the Delhi, and everybody get affected. For that, we are paying on the bagas, we are paying to the vendor the, say, 2.5 rupees, 3 rupees per kg we are paying to the vendor, which is a waste with which they are burning, because they are supposed to burn. For that, they are getting money for 2.5 rupees to 3 rupees per kg. So that is how it is. That is one of the examples. Second is that for any sugar industry, as I mentioned, if they are using the bagas in Karnataka, what happens? There are a lot of sugar companies, they are not burning the bagas, they are using the bagas as a fuel. So once the bagas used as a fuel, the press mart comes, the mart comes out. So for that, the people are paying money for the transporter to handle that and remove it from the factory premises to in a remote place to dump it there. So for that press mud we are buying at 2 rupees per kg for our raw material of the compressed biogas plant. So that is how, I mean, the people who are spending money or people who are just burning it or just wasting it, for that we are giving the money to our vendor and making them as well profitable. So these are the few examples by which we are taking some financial decision and strategic decision. So we are also making profitable, and our vendors are also become profitable.
Beautiful, sir. Very nice. So we'll just take a quick round of discussion, but the same question. The question is, being in this world of predictive analytics and big data, and a lot of data is available for taking too many decisions, probably right or wrong is next question. So from your own perspectives, what are the misconceptions which people take it for granted and say, no, this is all things are not fair, or I don't think this will work out? Any misconceptions or any so-called myth people say, this it to chalta nahi hai, it to bolte hi rehta hai, something like that, something which comes to your mind, probably you can just share one or two insights, that's all. So we'll start with Debnath ji.
So there are in the industry, in our particular industry, there are a lot of misconception is like, say, in the sugar is the first misconception is for the sugar industry. If I say on that, the sugar is not a profitable industry. So the people say that there are a lot of volatility on the sugar because the sugar price goes ups and downs and it is commodity driven and all these things. So those are there. So here, if we just, for a timing, if we just shift our strategy on the other way, okay, sugar is a commodity driven where you do not have any control, rather the ministry is controlling the price, that is understood. But at the same time, there are a lot of byproduct for the sugar industry. the people who are making the sugar, there is a bagasse available, there is molasses available, by which, as I've given the example, so as the ethanol, the biofuel industries are growing up, and the opportunity is endless, so there we can use that as well. Then there are, in India especially, there are a lot of today the scenario has changed after 10 years of the existing government, so we are prone to the renewable and all, but the general thought process still there it is, that the renewable or some new industry will not be successful. Say for, if I talk about the solar industry, so solar industries, if I talk about the in the year, say 2011, 12, 13, 14, at that point of time, they said that solar is nothing will happen. Koi solar light jalata hai, so that is all. It will not come in a big way. Today, you don't know in your home whether you are using the solar electricity, or it is a wind electricity, or it is a thermal. So NTPC to everybody is coming for the solar, and there are a lot of solar park projects happening like that. Similarly, coming to our example on the blending, so the announcement has happened for a 20% blending, but till date we have achieved this 12.54% blending we have achieved, but we are already the Innova High Cross, which is announced is the 100% blended this thing, compatible. So that means the things that if the Toyota is making a car, so that means there is the prospect, and we need to keep a faith on that, and we need to do it. Similarly, say for EVs today, if you look at any car, Tata has already launched it. They are setting up a charging station. If you buy a Nexon, they will set up a charging station at your home as well. But yes, there is a challenge. Still, there is a challenge for the standardization of battery. That is, if you compare with Europe versus India, still we are behind. But it will happen. We have to have the confidence on the new industry and to boost it and to prone to the new. So the only, I would say, as a conclusive statement, the changes is only permanent. So the change is the only permanent in nature, and rest all are temporary. So we need to believe in that, and we need to go ahead for the new industry.
So sweet of you. So sweet of you. So thank you. Over to Gokul.
I would say, like, whenever I or my sales engineers, we pitch to a customer and they think our product is a myth. Because the moment I say I install 1 meter at the electricity board and it can able to tell whatever equipment, hundreds of equipments inside your facility, and it can able to give the equipment level data, how is that even possible? So it's not, I think, I believe it's more of the understanding of AI ML of the people who are at the shop floor or who are the manufacturing sector. They need to upskill themselves to understand much better. And again, in the AI, it's not going to like in electricity sector, since I'm working on that, the moment we install our devices, it has to learn what is the environment about, what is the power consumption patterns like. Then only it can able to yield some valuable suggestions, and that could result to energy savings. So it's more of the data and the decisions, and the more the data the AI can learn, and it can able to give unbiased result. And more importantly, it's the people upskilling themselves and understanding the fruitfulness of the AI. So that's it. This is what I wanna tell.
Thank you. Ninanji.
So, misconception, if you say, at our thing, we tell people to segregate waste first.
Okay.
And their misconception is the local body should do it for us. So they don't want to do it anything by themselves, but they want the local body to do. I've just explained them, if you have a paper cup, you have tea, and you keep it aside, we can recycle it. But if that paper cup goes into wet waste, the wet waste sticks to it, the paper goes like very wet it becomes, and it is very hard to recycle that. So people have this misconception like a local body should do it, they will do it for us, and all those things. So we do go to them, educate them regarding this. Education about segregation is must. You should segregate waste in not only in wet and dry, but biomedical is also there and other things. So we should segregate waste first. Another thing which I told earlier also, they think composting as a very small process. It is not. It is a natural process. Decomposition also takes time, and yeah. So mainly segregation. After segregation, everything, the waste management can go right. Till the time you don't segregate, it doesn't have any value, and thus we cannot recycle it, and it won't like it will go to dumping itself.
Very nice, very nice. So last quick one more round which we will do. Probably we have exactly 5 minutes and we'll wrap it up in the same way. But the question is very direct, because being in the entrepreneurial and being in the business segment, and India being a youth so-called led country, we all need people. So from your point of view, what are the 3 skill sets which you will be looking while hiring a person? That's point number 1. Second, an advice. What sort of opportunities are available for the new, it's not a new gen, it's like anybody who is getting into this industry, or some statements like, take care of these 3 things. So we'll, is the question clear? I just out of blue, but it's because I think one way this recorded session will be up and a lot of you youngsters will be looking for. And I am also seeing on the online platform, a lot of renewable energy courses are coming up. But from your point of view, as an employer, as an advisor, as an entrepreneur who has been on the ground, what are the 3 things which you will be looking for while hiring a person? It can be skill sets, technical, whatever it is, but baseline only. And any advisors, how they can build their resume, or it only to your industry, something which will fit in, or what is that USP you will be looking for, because you will get 30 seconds or 40 seconds to screen. A lot of things will come up. So just give a glimpse so that it will be helpful for next generation also. So shall we start with Gokul for a change?
Sure. So what I would look at is whatever the technologies it can be groomed. I believe we can train the resource, but if they lack on communication skills, and then taking a ownership of whatever they are like doing, mostly of the leadership one, and also working with the team. These 3 things I particularly look for: team working, leadership, and communication. That's a very basic and foremost. Then and apart from that, if we are looking for some technical resource, some basic understanding, then we can group the resource. We can make sure the resource performing well. And so that technicalities aside, these 3 basic things that I look for. And the advice, earlier times I used to look at the resumes, and I get pissed off when I see a resume says full stack developer and they have 1 year experience in data science, and also it says Python or something. They have like kept a leg in every corner of the technologies. So rather than that, if they wanted to become a full stack engineer, let them take one particular like technology, and have a deep knowledge in that and experience in that particular. Or if they're a Python engineer, let them be in that thing. They can uplearn, they can know things, but jumping from one to here to there, it's not advisable.
So sweet of you. So the Model T learning, which is highly respected, have some idea, but have deeper idea on one thing which you are good at. Thank you. So Debnath ji, your 3 things which you look for or advice.
Yeah, sure. So first is at which role I'm hiring for that particular profile. It has to be technically competent according to the requirement of the profile. That is number 1. Number 2, for me, it is extremely important, which is that who is just not a follower at his role, even if he's a data entry, he has to be innovative. The innovative approach should come up, and I always give the preference, instead of hard work, I give the preference on the smart work. So that kind of, that is what we look for. And what he has, if it is a fresher, then on his study, what value addition he has done, or what good thing he has done, maybe on his study, maybe on his or her extracurricular activities. And so that will demonstrate that when you come to the corporates, that how you expose yourself. So this is number 2. And obviously the behavioral skills, I give importance on the behavioral skills sort of, so which is basically the acceptability, teamwork, and if it is a leadership role, then the leadership capability. It's not always that I am the boss, you are the subordinate. It's like that. So you have to go to in their chair and to solve the problem. More of a approach is one line is the problem solver, the go-getter. It is not that just giving a advice will not give any solution. So these are the approach I I see in any of the hiring profile, and that will really add the, if they are really adopt those things, then obviously with the new generation, with the innovation, you have seen that the today in government, also in government of India, there are a lot of innovative approaches are happening. Even the IS officer are working in the Sunday 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the night, and so there is no particular hour. The thing is that I have to complete the job. That is what it is. That approach, it has to be the entrepreneur approach, and the ownership has to be taken. That is number two. For the message to the youth or the youngster is like that, whatever you do it passionately. Maybe everybody is not Mr. Abdul Kalam, or everybody is not Jagdish Chandra Bose, the scientist, but whatever you do it passionately, and get 100% into it, and take out the best outcome of the process and the best outcome. So that is the message I would like to give to the young generation.
So sweet of you. Thank you, sir. Ninanji. Oh, probably. Anyway, part of technology, so we'll wait for a minute or so. Yeah.
So I'm agreeing to both their points first, like the technical thing they should have communication and all, but they should also have patience, do specialization in that thing what we are supposed to hire, and advice what I will give is we are still at an earlier stage, so this is a very long journey, so you should have those things, and keep in mind that government will come making some rules for us. They will be having some guidelines, and so will our industry. Like it will get its own path designed, and the road will be smoother later. So have patience and be driven to it.
So sweet of you. So approximately 2 minutes off shot, but I think we are almost on the final lap. So great, lovely talking to all of you. It has been a great pleasure. A lot of learnings for me particularly, and different sectoral insights, which I'm sure a lot of youth as well as the audience would be very curious to know about. Similarly, you also mentioned about certain misconceptions or challenges which people assume and believe that this is fly-by-night operator, or this can happen in a day, which Debnath, Gokul and Ninand also nailed it out regarding different segments. One, even the EV, which we are all talking about, the present concept. And last was an advice to the youth also. So overall, it has been a great session. So I really thank you for giving me the opportunity to interact with you. A lot of learnings. Let's surely
It
be
was indeed a really nice session. Like, it was very informative session. I was like listening the whole time. I didn't want to disturb you, but it was a nice session, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, each and everyone, for being here today. I'm seeing this from our team. Like, thank you so much, and I really appreciate all of your time here. I'm really looking forward to work with you all in the future as well. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.